Hey everybody. So let's talk about setbacks when we're starting a new healing business. I myself have been there. As a newly qualified practitioner, I started up my first official healing practice called The Art of Healing in a shared home that I was living in. I was in my late 20s, and although I had a whole dedicated room in the house and it was beautiful, it just didn't feel right because it was a shared house and people were always coming and going. And so I told myself that I couldn't really start and dedicate myself to growing the business because it wasn't the right place. You know, there was too many people coming and going. So I took a few clients here and there, but I always found a way to push the clients energetically away because I had this underlying belief, or so I was telling myself, that this wasn't the right place for me to establish a business. I was also in my late 20s and valued my personal freedom very highly and saw being tied down to my clients emotionally, energetically and spiritually as almost like a drain and an anchor to my freedom. So that was another reason why I pushed my clients away. So of course, I didn't really attract a lot of clients then. And then I moved home, I started traveling for a little while, and I told myself that I couldn't start the practice because I was transient. So that put an end to that. Finally, I did get a home and a setup, and I had a beautiful space, but by that stage I was a young mum, I had young children, and once again, it just wasn't the right time because I had young children. They were my priority. I wasn't ready yet. I needed more experience. Keeping in mind, I was taking clients here and there in that time, but I just wasn't building my business. It wasn't until about 6-7 years after I first qualified that I started taking clients in a dedicated, continual capacity. But even then, I still made excuses why my business wasn't thriving. So I didn't have enough education, I needed more experience, everything wasn't perfect yet. And you get where I'm going with this, right? Perhaps some of these excuses are coming up for you as well. And I realized that truthfully, there's never a perfect time to start your healing business. If you look for reasons why not to start or why you're not succeeding, you'll always find them. The key here is to, rather than externalize your excuses, your reasons, your blame, is start looking internally. What is going on inside me? Why am I pushing this away? Why do I not feel confident? Why do I not feel like I'm ready? What am I afraid of? What is causing me stress? Bring it always back to yourself. So some of the main reasons why we don't succeed when we're first starting a healing business, or why we find it so difficult to attract clients, is that our clients actually mirror ourselves back to us. So if you have a think at the moment about some of the greatest reasons why you think that your clients aren't booking with you, or why you're finding it difficult to get clients, or perhaps it's something that's coming up for your current clients, whether it be that they don't have enough money, whether it be that they have other priorities in their life right now, whatever it is, take that as an opportunity to reflect back to yourself. That was another thing that was holding me back as well, was that I didn't have a high value within myself. And high value is different to abundance and monetary value, which I'm going to talk about in a moment as well, because the two are tied together. So your value is what you have to offer the world. This is also different to self-esteem. I had a lot of self-esteem. I treated myself and others with respect. I expected others to treat me the same way. I was confident, but I didn't have a high value. So I was undercharging, I wasn't appreciating my worth. And not only was that expressed in my healing room through lack of clients, and my projection being that people just didn't have the money to come and see me. It was also projected in my lifestyle as well. I bought all of my things from Kmart and secondhand, and I was always looking for the cheapest items, cheap bed sheets instead of buying high quality thread count bed sheets, etc. So This is all examples of how we lower our self-worth and we reinforce that idea that we're not worth a high price point, because at the end of the day, money, whether you like it or not, and actually if you dislike or have an opinion around, a negative opinion around money, therein probably lies a big problem that you may have around abundance and your scarcity mindset, is that if you think money is bad, you don't actually understand that money is an energy. It's simply a object that universally we attach energetic value to. And so one of the biggest revelations for me in my turnaround from going from a place of poverty to a place of really what can only be described as true abundance is I began to understand and develop a relationship with money as an energetic relationship. And it's important to understand that money and currency, that's just one part of self-worth and self-value as well. There's a lot to being wealthy, and wealth is not just monetary wealth. There's a lot of other aspects that come into wealth. So this is also something that is potentially holding you back from succeeding in your business. What I'd love to offer you is a personal experience I had, because I have 2 workshops which are starting next week called Scarcity to Abundance and Supercharge Your Startup Healing Biz. I've got a couple of places remaining on these workshops, and I would really love if you are someone who is passionate about really turning your startup healing business into something that is abundant, it helps people, you're connecting with more people, you're inviting more clients into your life, you have a perfect balance between your work and lifestyle, you feel fulfilled every day, your marketing's on point, you're living in alignment with your core values and your business is expressing that, you're no longer worrying about finding clients or lowering your value. If you really value those kind of things and you want to see that change in your life, then I invite you to join me on this journey, because I'm going to share with you some really amazing stories of my own personal journey, both in turning my life from one of poverty and lack into one of abundance, as well as how I grew my business from those initial years of completely pushing and pushing and pushing away wealth and successful business and clients, and to actually growing a global healing brand. Now, to be completely truthful with you guys, and I always want to be authentic with you, my lowest financial point probably came in 2013, where we moved as a family from Canada back to Australia. We did have a few $1,000s in the bank, but we moved to Australia with no jobs, no security, no home, nothing. We just had our suitcases with us. And so we were living in a tent under my mum's house for 2 months. We used what little money we had in the bank to buy a car. So when Rob eventually did get a job, he was able to commute to work, but the car died 6 months later and we had to buy a new one. But that was definitely my low point, literally living in a tent with my family, jobless, homeless, and with a very small amount of savings in the bank. So that was in 2013, but that was actually my turning point, because I decided I just didn't want that type of insecurity in my life anymore. And I finally faced myself and said, what is it going to take for me to finally start moving forward with my business and being this really giving of myself. I never aspired to being a successful business person. That kind of came through my journey. At that time, my goal was simply to help as many people as possible. And so by continuing to make all of these excuses, I was denying people of that help and that love and that care. And so that was the turning point for me. And in 2021, so that was exactly 8 years after when I was living in a tent, I turned over $500,000 in my business. I retired my husband from flying in, flying out work so he could live full time with the family. And I really stepped into that power of what a successful healing business is. So what I invite you guys to do is you know me, you've journeyed with me for a little while. You know that I'm really passionate about helping people, and that everything I say and do within my business and in my personal life comes from a place of integrity. I never speak untruthfully, and I never give you information that I don't stand by 100%. And I'm telling you now, I can help you. I can help you if you feel stuck. I know exactly what it takes to get from that place of fear and low self-worth and second guessing your abilities and not knowing where your next income is going to come from, and working in a job you hate, but not knowing how to transition into full-time healing practice. I know how to get from there to where I am now, and I by no means have plateaued. My limit has been lifted of where I can see myself going, and I would love to share that with you. I would also love to share with you some of the most profound moments I've had in turning around my scarcity mindset as being raised in a single parent, very low income household, into finally dropping all of that family and ancestral non-serving belief around low self-worth and having to be a battler and live on a low income. And I just don't want to do that anymore, and I don't want to pass that on to my children. I want to be a person that not only attracts money and success and joy and abundance into my life, but keeps it there, because my energy is the same. It resonates with that energy. I want to attract clients and people and a community that is in alignment with that mission and wants to impact as many people as possible and help as many other people as possible to rise above their self-limiting beliefs, to get out of their own way, and to really shine in a way that they're capable of. So if this is a journey that you'd love to take with me, I think I have one spot left on my Supercharge Your Startup Healing Business Lab. And I've got a few spots left on my Scarcity to Abundance Lab. We start next week. This is going to be one of the best investments that you've made in your business growth and your personal growth. I can say that with absolute certainty. And last year we had some amazing success stories come out of those labs, which I offered for the first time in November, December. So for those of you who are ready to leave all the crap behind and just get on with it. Just get on with being who you are meant to be and helping as many people as possible and owning your greatness, then please take this journey with me.